Hello, Bernie. How are you, sir?
I'm grand, very grand today, Rant. Oh gosh, I hope we have British viewers. They might not like that. cut that.
Just the teeth all, just the teeth all out. Yeah, we probably should. For any of those who are English, please don't take offense to that. It's gonna make sense once we start talking about this, or if you've seen what
we are not bravophobic. Because it's English, bruv.
I get it. I get you. Hello, guys. Again, another episode of the Bodacious Rant with the ever so loving and British Bern and Rice.
Yes, we've been knighted.
It's been a jolly good time that we've had over these past few nights, and we are now going to talk about this outstanding picture. Okay, no, I can't do this. I'm sorry.
I was wondering how long you're gonna go with the bit. I was like,
I can't keep doing it. My accent is horrible.
I was like, that's some commitment.
I'm not going to be like Dee from Always Sunny, just, hello, I'm Albert Covington. Just the fucking head, her little head shake. Anyways, we're off topic, but we're way too off topic for the first minute. So, I had to actually, I think the reason why I'm distracted from talking about this, because this movie just shocked me. We finally we got to see this movie I was talking about a couple episodes ago called Men. Mm-hmm. It's another crazy A24 movie, which if you've seen our other episodes before, especially about The Green Knight and even The Northman, you would know A24 is behind some heavy stuff, like very impactful cinema where it's gonna either mess you up mentally or something. You know, even the dogs can sense that what we're talking about is messed up. I think it just came out. It just came out this weekend, right? Or were we late to that?
No, yeah, it did just premiere this weekend.
Okay. It's directed by Alex Garland, and it's about this woman who the actor is Jessie Buckley. Her name is Harper. She retreats to an English, I think it's English countryside, like home, in the middle of, like I said, the middle of the country, because she is dealing with the death of her husband, and what's supposed to be a peaceful and very empowering trip for a woman just ends up being the most disturbing and haunting movie I've seen in a while. Like, it was just straight up creepy. I felt so unsettled, even in the nice parts of this movie, and just talking about it's giving me heart palpitations. I can't do this. Just disturbing, dude. I remember you talked about it when you first saw it, and I was like, "Ooh, this sounds like just not a great movie." And no, I see what you meant, dude. It is horrifying. Just. It also stars Rory Kinnear, who's from, if any of you guys have seen Penny Dreadful, that's one of my favorite shows of all time. He's in that one. He's in the Daniel Craig Bond movies as Tanner. And he's in a handful of other stuff. I haven't seen everything, but he's a solid actor. And he plays the men in this movie, which is really interesting how they did it that way. Like, the makeup and the effects with this one. So, Bern, what were your overall impressions of it? Because mine are just, frankly, just disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, I second everything that you just said. Like you said, A24 has been known as of late to put out some really, really out there movies, and I really enjoy a lot of them for the most part. They're very good counter programming to a lot of the blockbusters that we get nowadays. They have a lot of very original, very artsy movies, so they're definitely for a particular type of crowd for sure. But I've been a fan of the director Alex Garland for a long time, since his writing days. He started off writing movies like 28 Days Later and Sunshine. And then his last 3 directorial movies were arguably Dread. As from what we've heard of a lot of behind the scenes about that movie, he basically directed that movie and just didn't get credit for it. So that movie was awesome. Ex Machina, which was excellent, and Annihilation, which came out a few years ago, which was also great. So more
another fucked up movie.
Yeah, so he's got a little bit of a penchant for putting some crazy stuff out there, stuff that I do like. And And yeah, this one, instead of going into the sci-fi horror aspect that he does, this is a lot more of like a folk horror movie. And like you said, man, this movie goes to some really like dark places, especially the big build up to the end of the movie, which is something I think a lot of people are going to be talking about for a while. At least the people that do go watch this movie. But besides any of that, I mean, I think the performances, by Jesse Buckley and Rory Kinnear are fantastic. The cinematography was great. Just this English countryside that we don't get to see a lot of in movies. It looked beautiful, and then a lot of the soundtrack, made it very eerie and disturbing. And I like how sounds within the movie, would start off, like in the scene and expand into like a big soundscape and stuff. So I thought this overall is a very, very creative movie for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there were parts in this movie I thought, oh my god, this is a little too artsy for me, but I still cannot deny the fact, like everything you said was accurate. The score was one of the more interesting things I thought. It utilizes dialogue and just noises that Jesse Buckley makes and turns it into like music, and especially some really scary scenes. I was like, wow, that's really well done. And even though the scenery was beautiful, the fact that this guy made this movie seems so unsettling for a countryside. I'm like, I'm never going to the English countryside again.
Yeah, I'm never taking holiday out there.
This is where American Werewolf in London happened, and I could see why.
Oh, true.
I just kept thinking, this is a perfect environment for like a werewolf or some sort of sick creature just to pop out somewhere and just wreak havoc. And then, like I said, you hit on the head. Very well shot. The acting was superb, especially by her. I haven't really seen her in a whole lot of stuff, to be honest.
She hasn't been in much, but everything that she has been in has been really good. At least her performances have been really good.
Yeah, so again, but this is definitely not a movie for the faint of heart or average horror fans. I went into it thinking it was going to be a horror movie, maybe a supernatural thriller or psychological thriller. And it's psychological for sure, but not a traditional one at all. There was actually, I think you experienced this too, Bern, a couple left after like maybe 20 or 30 minutes into this movie, and they just dipped. They did not come back.
Yes.
I think I heard them say like, fuck this, let's go. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, there was definitely walkouts in my theater too.
But I don't know if that's because it was just not what they were expecting, if they were horrified, or I don't know. They're really, I wish I should have been like, hey, why are you guys leaving? It's great, isn't it? But no, I didn't do that. I would give this movie a 3 out of 5 strictly just because the amazing acting, beautiful cinematography, the effects, but just because it's so disturbing. And it's a good story. Like, I feel like if anything, this is definitely a metaphor for toxic masculinity and really shifting the blame to men in general, which is like, no, it's totally fair. The way the story goes, it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. But yeah, again, it was just, I just walked out thinking, my God, what did I just watch? I'm horrified right now. But what about you, Bern? What'd you think?
Yeah, a lot of this movie, shouldn't. I guess if I were to preface, or like prep somebody to go watch this, I would say don't take a lot of this movie literally. A lot of it delves into metaphor and symbolism and stuff. So for people who enjoy, movie experiences like that, this is definitely right up their alley because there's a lot to unpack here when it comes to the visuals and the story at hand. Like you said, really delves into like really toxic relationships and toxic aspects of masculinity and stuff. And I thought that conversation was pretty well done, within the framework of the movie, and utilizing like horror elements to really drive that point home. I do think sometimes it does kind of get lost a little bit in the metaphor. Not that like it didn't come across, but I think sometimes it does get a little bit heavy-handed, and maybe that is kind of necessary for someone who probably didn't get it by the time the movie ends. But for someone like me, I kind of got it, to begin with, and didn't really need to go that far for me. But overall, I can appreciate the horror elements that were involved in. And for me, this is also going to be a 3 out of 5. It's not my favorite of Alex Garland's works. I would say this is probably on the lower end of the things that he's done. But that's just because those other ones are so excellent too. And this one was a nice reprieve from the science fiction aspect of like his work. So it was cool seeing another type of like horror story from him. But yeah, overall, this is going to be a really hard one to recommend to people. I would say like if you're a fan of really artsy movies and can stomach some pretty crazy body horror, you can check this out. But if that doesn't sound up your alley, then do not even try.
No, I really can't think of anyone I would recommend it to. It just maybe I don't even think like a feminist would be a right person to watch this movie just because I'm like strictly just because of the horror aspects to it. Like this is a pretty gruesome movie and very just shockingly shocking images in this one. Like, you know how some movies are like PG-13 rated R because of shocking images. I'm like, bullshit. This is one I will say this is that for sure. So yeah, if you guys love A24 movies like Midsommar, Northman, Green Knight, all that kind of a little more artsy cinema, this may be for you. So just, you know, check it out. Check out the trailers maybe, see if it's worth it for you. It's in theaters everywhere. Not in Dolby or IMAX, so, you know, it's just a regular movie. So check it out maybe on a $5 Tuesday, if anything. At least that's what I would recommend, unless you really want to see it.
maybe the $5 will help ease the pain of what happens in the movie for you.
And if you walk out, hey, you only walked out spending only $5, so, you know, weigh it yourself. But until next time, guys, again, we got Obi-Wan coming out and Top Gun Maverick this week. So we got a couple more episodes coming at you real soon. Let us know. Have you guys seen this movie? Did you guys see it this last weekend? Have you seen it lately? Are you interested in it? Or have you never heard of it? We'd love to know. Don't forget to ring the bell, give us a like. For those of you who haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We really appreciate it as well. And share us around. We appreciate the support, guys. And above all, you know, stay bodacious and keep on ranting.
Yeah, absolutely, buddy. You know, go support independent movies. You know, there's a lot of them coming out, which is awesome. You know, things like this. Even as crazy as this one is in particular, it's cool to see these movies, you know, coming out alongside, you know, things like Top Gun Maverick and stuff that we're definitely going to be talking about, you know, in the weeks coming. So yeah, like Ryan said, you know, definitely tune in with us so you can hear us talk about it because we're very excited for those. So yeah, until then, guys, be good and be safe and. Don't take a trip to the English countryside.
Definitely not. Please don't.
Adios, everybody.